Today on Judge Faith. She handed her commercial truck keys to a kid, and he drove it into the impound yard.
Gage came up the driveway, walking up. He calls me Ma, because he knows me so well. He says, "Hey, look, Ma, guess what? I got my driver's license. I'm now legal. I can drive."
I only told the plaintiff that I was able to drive. I did not actually physically
That's
present
a lie.
her with anything.
He lied to me, he lied to my son, he lied to his friends, he lied to the police, he lied to everybody.
Isn't the entire issue in this case that he didn't have a driver's license at all?
Exactly.
What are you saying, he showed you a fake ID?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Lisa Janko says the defendant's son lied to her about having a valid driver's license, and as a result, her vehicle was impounded when he was pulled over for reckless driving. She's suing for impound fees. She's accompanied by her daughter, Juliana Janko. Defendants James, Gage, and Amy Day say they owe nothing because the plaintiff never asked about a valid driver's license when she willingly handed over the keys to Gage.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Janko versus Day and Bay.
Thank you, Barbara. Lisa Janko?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You are suing the defendant Gage Day and his parents Amy Day and James Day for $1,326
Yes, I
for
am.
car impound fees.
Yes.
And I understand that you all are countersuing for $4,000 for harassment.
Correct.
Okay. So as I understand it, Ms. Janko, you say that the defendant Gage lied to you about having a valid driver's license.
Yes, he did.
And was stopped by the police, and your car was impounded as a result?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so why don't you start from the beginning and tell me what happened here?
My son and Gage Day, my son's name is Brandon Janko. They went to grade school together. They hang out together. They're friends. He comes over to the house quite often.
Okay, how old is your son?
My son is 17.
How old are you?
I'm 18, Your Honor.
Okay, and what happened on this particular day?
Back in February of 2014, Gage came up the driveway, walking up. He calls me Ma, because he knows me so well. He says, "Hey, look, Ma, guess what? I got my driver's license. I'm now legal. I can drive." And I was like,
true, Your Honor.
"Good
So you're
for
saying
you."
he showed you a driver's
Yes,
license?
he did.
Your Honor, that's
Yes,
not
he
Okay,
true.
did.
well, isn't the entire issue in this case that he didn't have a driver's license at all?
Exactly.
What are you saying he showed you, a fake ID?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask him, because he lied to me, he lied to my son, he lied to his friends, he lied to the police, he lied to everybody.
Did you ever show her anything that was an ID or a fake ID or anything like
No,
that?
Your Honor. I showed a California ID, and that was after I had gotten it. But before that, at the time this had happened, I did not show her anything.
Okay, so let me be clear, Gage. You're saying you never led the plaintiff to believe that you had a driver's license.
No, I only told the plaintiff that I was able to drive. I did not actually physically
That's a
present her
lie.
with anything.
Have you ever seen him drive a car or a truck or a motor vehicle?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the only reason you thought he had a driver's license, you're saying, is because he told you.
No, he showed me.
And because
he
you're
walked
saying
up
he
the
showed
driveway
you.
and he
Okay.
said, "Hey, Ma,
Go ahead.
Look, I got my driver's license. I'm legal now. I can drive. Blah blah blah. If you ever need me to drive Brandon anywhere."
I got that part. Go
And
ahead
then
to the day the
months
car got
later,
impounded.
I never did. Months later, he called me on August 8th at 8:12 in the morning. I was sleeping, my son was sleeping, they go to school together. And he's like, "I'm gonna head up there if you want. I go to school with Brandon." Also, not only was Brandon in the truck, but his friend was in the truck too.
Well, no, let's back up a second. So he calls you
Yes.
up out of the blue and just says,
He's
I
like,
want to drive
"I'm going to school today." He's like, "If you want, I'm legal. I can drive Brandon to school today."
You say you get a call from Gage. What do
Exactly.
you say happened? Like, I'm trying to figure out how he got to your home and got the keys in his hand and started driving that day. What do you say that conversation
Your
was
Honor, what
about?
had happened was I had called her that morning, and I said, hey, I was going to school anyways, and I was seeing if Brandon had to go. I had ridden my mountain bike, or my mom's mountain bike at the time. I had ridden from my house all the way up to hers, and then I had asked if, okay, I'm going to school. I was like, is Brandon going to school today? I figured if Brandon's going to school, I figured, why not? You know, that's it. I can get a ride, catch a ride like that and stuff like that.
Okay, so your idea was you were going to ride your mountain bike over to their house
Yes.
and catch a ride in a car.
Yes.
With whoever was going to drive Brandon to
Yes.
school, and you were going to leave your bike at their house.
Yes, Your
Had
Honor.
you done that before?
Yes.
Go ahead. So what happens? He gets to your house that morning.
He gets to my
happens?
house. He says,
By
you
the way,
know,
what kind of vehicle did he end up driving?
a white truck.
And is that a commercial car?
Yes, it is.
I want to know the conversation that you had with Gage prior to you giving him the keys to your truck.
He said, you know I'm legal. I have my license.
Your Honor, that's not true.
He said, I showed it to you. He said, I can drive Brandon to school. Brandon did not have a license, and they were also going to get some work done on the truck that day.
What kind of work?
They were going to go to the smog shop, and they were going to drop
Your Honor,
off
that's
something
not
that was
true.
in the back of the truck.
Okay, so it had not passed smog,
Right.
correct? In California, you have to take cars and they have to get checked for smog because the state wants to regulate the amount of pollution in the air that emits from
Exactly.
cars.
Right.
So on this occasion, your car had not passed the smog test, and
Right.
you had to go and get it tested. And until the car passed the test, and it was a truck in this case,
Right.
it's not supposed to be driven, correct?
No, it is. You can have a...
No, it's not.
Yes.
You have a one-day moving pass, correct?
Exactly. It allows you to drive it wherever it needs to go, whether it's from
Hand me the
mechanics.
pass. That's not true.
Your
Hand me
Honor,
the
that is
pass.
not
Yes.
true.
Coming up on Judge Faith, Gage gets called out on his comical claims in court.
Why were you driving without a driver's license? You know you don't have a license. Why were you driving?
Because I was the only one that knows how to drive stick.
You didn't answer my question. Why were you driving?
Because she handed me the keys.
No.
Okay.
No.
So if someone hands you keys, you're just going to drive their car no matter what.
Plaintiff Lisa Janko says she trusted the defendant's son with her truck and had no idea he was lying about having a valid driver's license. She's suing for impound fees. She's accompanied by her daughter, Juliana Janko. Defendants James, Gage, and Amy Day say they owe nothing because the plaintiff never asked to see their son's driver's license.
So you handed me a moving pass. This vehicle is only supposed to be moved for certification to get smog tested in this particular case.
No,
and it's
that's not
only
what the
valid,
DMV
excuse
told
me,
me.
ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. It's only valid for one date, which is August 8th,
Yes.
2014.
But you
and
can
it
move it
states on
wherever you
here,
have to
the
move it.
above vehicle will be moved for certification. That's it. So whether or not he had a valid driver's license, they're not supposed to be driving this car to school.
That's
and this
not
is
what
also
the
a
DMV
commercial
told
vehicle,
me.
right?
That's not what
Do you have the
DMV
tow
told me.
paperwork? What happened when you were in the car? What happened? How did the car end up getting towed?
The car ended up getting towed is I went through a red light. What it was is I was halfway through the intersection when it flipped red. I had to go completely through. I could not stop in the middle of the lane. Obviously, it's kind of dumb to stop right in the middle of the lane. So I had to go completely through. I went and I ended up going and turning into the neighborhood. Okay, that is when I got lit up and I got pulled over.
And so why were you driving without a driver's license? You know you don't have a license. Why were you driving?
Because I was the only one that knows how to drive stick.
No.
Okay,
that's
but
not
why
true.
why were you driving?
I
You didn't
would-
answer my question. Why were you driving?
Because she handed me the keys.
No.
Okay.
No.
So if someone hands you keys, you're just going to drive their car no matter what.
Well, I mean-
No.
I mean, how old
If she
were
wouldn't
you?
have given me the
You were
keys, Your Honor,
17,
I wouldn't have driven the
18?
truck.
Okay, so you can say no, right?
Yeah.
You can say, I don't have a license, I shouldn't be driving this truck, correct?
I
Can
didn't have
I
a
get a
license, I
ride
shouldn't
from
be driving.
you, Mom?
Okay.
But I do have a permit now, so I can drive now.
That's not what he told the police officers.
And Your Honor, actually, I have proof of that
Well, we're not
permit
talking
right
about
here.
now. We're talking about what happened on August 8th. You
Oh, okay.
understand?
Yes.
What you have now is not relevant to this case. It's what happened on August 8th.
And she also stated, Your Honor, that her son does not have a driver's license. Okay, her son has showed up at our house numerous occasions
In the
That's
same
a lie.
to come pick up my son to go to the scrapyard or whatever else, driving the work Janko mobile detailing vehicle.
The same vehicle that I
That's
had gotten
just
towed.
a lie.
more than 4 times. My husband can
You've seen this
testify
too?
the
I've
same
seen
thing.
it.
No.
I've seen it about 4 different times. The one kid, and they drive right up in the driveway, truck full of garbage or whatever they're going to go recycle.
That's
and
just
they're
a lie.
It's not a lie.
Yes,
it's
it
not
is.
a lie.
We've
So
fully
let me-
seen him
That is
drive
just
up
a
in.
lie.
He drives up in the truck, Your Honor.
No.
She
So
can say what
Gage-
she wants. She gives
No.
him the keys that time too. He is not licensed, and he has driven up in that
That's
vehicle
wrong.
more than,
No.
let's say more than 5 times?
Okay.
No.
Yes.
Gage,
That's a lie.
Gage, where were you supposed to be going that day when you were driving?
That day
what was the plan?
That day, what had happened, what was supposed to be going on was I was supposed to drive to this recycle yard. They were going to scrap, recycle the metals and stuff like that, and then that money would be divided between just those two. I was not getting any part of the income at all, and then on the way back, I was supposed to get dropped off at school.
That whole thing is just a lie.
They were all going to the same place.
No,
is what it
Was
that's
there
a lie.
ever a conversation about you taking this car to get smog tested?
No,
That's just a lie.
no, there wasn't, Your Honor.
So I'm looking at the tow paperwork here. The reason why the vehicle was impounded, according to the police officer who wrote this report, was that Gage, the driver, did not have a valid commercial driver's license. Did you see that on the tow paperwork?
He didn't have a license at all. And in fact,
The paperwork says he did not have a commercial driver's license. In order to drive a commercial vehicle, you have to have a commercial driver's
I
license.
did not see that
Not
paperwork.
This is your paperwork that you submitted. Here it is, right there. Show it to her. I didn't write that. The police wrote it. In order for you to drive a commercial vehicle, you have to have a certain type of license, a commercial license. You have to pass a test to get it. You want me to hold him accountable?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. You're the adult here. He's a teenager. He's a kid. You understand? So if you want to talk about who did what that day, let's start with you. You have a car that has not passed a smog test. That means the car is not up to date on its registration. That means the car should not be legally driven on any street in the state. That's why you have a one-day moving pass that allows you to drive that car to get certified. You allowed them, first of all, you gave the keys to your car to a teenager who should not be driving the car. It doesn't even matter that he doesn't have a valid license. The car cannot be legally driven because it hasn't passed the smog test. What's your counterclaim about?
With the way that she is and the way that we've been going on, I'm tired, just really tired of the phone calls coming to our house. We work overnight, we work mid-shifts, we work mornings, and we're trying to get rest. We have a 17-month-old grandson.
Who's calling your house?
We're getting calls from her, from phone numbers we don't even know.
I'm blocking, it's on my cell phone also.
Your Honor, I'm getting calls
That's not
trying
true.
to say, oh, is Gage there? And then I don't know who they are, trying just to get a hold of me. You need to stop.
They go to school
Stop.
together.
Serious.
Young man, you do not use that language in this courtroom. Do you understand?
That was disrespectful.
You can leave now. Get
sorry.
out.
wow.
You do not use that kind of language in this courtroom.
Apologize, Your Honor.
When I got out of church, I called his dad.
I
His dad
apologize.
No,
cussed me
be
out,
quiet.
too.
Be quiet.
This
I
is kind
apologize for
of
his
this
son.
is the frustration level that we're going through now.
Now, this is what I have to say to
there's
the
no-
two of you right now. Your son needs to learn some respect for authority.
We understand, Your Honor.
Not just her, but for me in this courtroom,
Yes.
too.
I
He does not
apologize.
use that kind of language.
Coming up, James and Amy claim Lisa is making it difficult for Gage to get on with his life.
We're just worried about Gage getting jumped or getting.
Being alone.
Being
Have there
alone.
been any specific threats?
No, there
I
hasn't
mean, as
neither.
far as I can see, Gage can take care of himself, as far as what I see in court.
Plaintiff Lisa Janko says Gage lied to her about having a license, and as a result, her vehicle was impounded due to his reckless driving. She's suing for impound fees. She's accompanied by her daughter, Juliana Janko. Defendants James, Gage, and Amy Day say they owe nothing because Gage only told Lisa he knew how to drive, not that he had a driver's license.
Sir, please go on.
So the phone calls, having to take Gage to school now because they both go to the same school, making sure he stays away from Brandon and whoever else he has with him. We're just worried about Gage getting jumped or getting
Being alone.
Being
Have there
alone.
been any specific threats?
as far as.
No, there
I
hasn't.
mean, as far
neither.
as I can see, Gage can take care of himself, as far as what I see in court.
There hasn't
Go
been any
ahead.
particular threats. She's called my cell phone, and first she's telling me
No.
that she goes, "Is this Gage's mom?" Matter of fact, in the suit, the suit she had against me, she called me Susie, so she didn't even know my real name.
Okay, that's not harassment, ma'am.
No,
That's not
but
harassment.
he kept going. She had called, by the time I got home, she had called and said, well, he needs to pay for this. He needs to pay for the impound. He needs to sell his motorcycle. He needs to sell that truck. And I said that truck is in his dad's name. It's his dad's truck. It was given to him when he got his driver's license.
Well, she actually truly believes that your son is responsible for the car being impounded. So her efforts to call and talk to you about it is not harassment.
No, but she's constantly telling us to have him sell his settlement, which he got from a dog bite when he was younger, and it's locked up until he's 25.
Okay, let me hear from your witness. Hi, who are you?
Hi, my name is Julie.
Okay.
Your Honor.
How are you related to the plaintiff?
This is my mom.
Okay.
So my mom came to me really upset saying that Gage Day was coming over to get a copy of the ticket, I guess, and I go outside to give him a copy, and I asked him, I was like, why do you need a copy when you have the original? And I guess he had lost the ticket, and then he said that I'm gonna take care of this, and then the mom yelled at him to get in the son, and then that's when I just
He
went.
basically
What
lied
happened?
to his mom as he lied to the police officers.
no, he
and
didn't.
He said he didn't get a ticket, and I didn't call her. My
He didn't
son
have
handed
your ticket, Your
Excuse
Honor.
me.
It
My son
fell out of
handed
the
me
back
the
pocket
phone
when he was riding
because
home on his
my
bike.
son had called her. I did not even have her phone number. My son had her phone number, and he called her and said, "This is what happened," and she said, "No." He didn't get a ticket, and I
He
said,
didn't
yes,
have
he
the
did.
ticket, Your Honor.
He's lying to you. I have a copy of the ticket, and the ticket's right here.
Your Honor, he
Okay,
didn't have
so
the ticket at the
I've
time
heard
it fell out
enough.
of his pocket.
I've heard enough. First, on your counterclaim for harassment, you have not established what you need to establish for harassment. Barbara, I understand that Gage wants to come back in and address the court. Would you get him for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Go ahead and take your seat.
I understand you have something to say, Gage?
Yes, I just want to apologize for coming at you disrespectful. I did not mean to, it's my first time in a courtroom, and I just, kind of angry, it's real stressful and stuff. I'm trying to get in the Navy, and it's real hard because if this goes on my record, I'm screwed,
I accept your apology, and I appreciate you coming back in here to tell me that. When you come into this courtroom and you testify and you're under oath and you're telling the truth, I'm not only listening to what you have to say, but I'm assessing your credibility too. And you come across as a hothead when you just shout out and yell and curse like that. And it's embarrassing for you, it's embarrassing for your parents.
I understand that, Your Honor.
So you need to not only just have respect for the court, but respect for yourself. You want to be in the Navy?
Yes.
Do you understand the level of respect and honor you have to present to get and be and serve in our military in this country?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, so I hope this is a lesson for you going forward.
Thank you.
Now, I've heard enough testimony in this case, and on your counterclaim for harassment, you have not presented sufficient evidence to me to prove harassment in order for you to be awarded $4,000. So your counterclaim is dismissed.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
On your claim, you're suing for $1,326 for the car impound fees. And here's my problem with you. It doesn't matter in this situation whether or not he did or did not tell you he had a driver's license. My issue is all the things and the choices you made to give him the keys to that car in the first place. He never should have been driving the car from the very beginning. And as I said before, you're the adult here. If he calls you and he asks you for the keys to the car because he wants to drive to school, the answer is no. You should be used to saying no by now. When a teenager asks you something, hey, Mom, can I use the car to go to a party? No. Hey, Mom, can I get a tattoo? No. Can I get my nose pierced? Absolutely not. You should be used to saying no to teenagers. You have to use that word a lot, and you should have used it the day that he came to your house and wanted the keys to your car. Had you not given him the keys to drive your commercial vehicle that needed smog testing and needed to be properly registered, he wouldn't have been driving the car. Had he not been driving the car, he would have never run a red light. Had he not run the red light, the police would not stop him. And if the police had not stopped him, your car would never have been impounded and we would not be here today. It is your choice to give him those keys that set into action an entire course of events that led us up to where we are today. And I also want to say, if you or your son have been calling them, it stops today.
We haven't.
There is nothing else to discuss about this case.
We haven't been calling them.
You and your choices are what got you to where you are today. He's just a teenager. You're the one that has to be the responsible adult and say no. Case dismissed.
Thank you.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.